Last time I was here, I showed a hack on ships. Now it's become more prevalent in the news because suddenly they've realised I can take a tanker ship, and literally that was me doing that, taking a tanker ship and moving it off course, and taking a US military vessel and moving it off course. Very, very dangerous, I would suggest, in close proximity to another military vessel. Aviation, hacking aircraft. If you, and I'll probably scare the life out of you here, you won't go on land, sea, air or water after this. If you don't think you can hack an aircraft, look at some of my other videos that I post online. You can hack an aircraft. Hacking cars, you can hack cars. So if you've seen Die Hard 4, I think it is, where they reverse all the cars off the top of a building, my son says to me, oh, that's Hollywood, Dad. I went, actually, no, you can't really do that, just not the speed Bruce Willis does it. But the reality is you can hack cars. And then medical hacking, pacemakers, insulin pumps. We haven't got time today, but I've left a video on here for everybody. And it just shows you how you can remotely hack a pacemaker and you can remotely hack an insulin pump. Now, one of my clients, who is an insurer, underwrites that exact company who did that. I think I scared the life out of them when I showed them this video, because it shows you how you can kill someone. So we're not now talking about just material events. We're talking about killing people. We're talking about targeting people. Executives, high-end profiles. I don't know who does any insurance for, high-end individuals like sports stars, politicians, royal family or whatever. If I want to target them now, I don't have to go and shoot them. I'll just work out which one's got a pacemaker and shut it down. Well, you know I've done it? Highly unlikely. So I won't show the medical hack, but I shall leave it on there. These are the challenges I'm seeing in your industry. It is a complex risk, don't underestimate it. It's rapidly evolving and changing, if not on a daily basis. I know you all have teams and you have individuals looking at this. As I said to someone earlier, what you don't have is a group of 20 to 30 criminals like I have that you can tap into on a regular basis. That's not because I'm a criminal anymore. I used to work for various law enforcement authorities and I know these people. If you think they're just looking for money, they're not. They're looking for notoriety, most of them. They're not interested in extorting cash or getting money. They just want to be the person who put that virus out there, the person who stopped that organisation working. And then they can walk around in their groovy gang of hackers with their hats saying, hey, that was me. I was Scooby-Doo, the person who took down the whole of the London Stock Exchange. Each insurer's risk profile is different. It doesn't take me to tell you that. Liability is uncertain. The market is still evolving, it's still developing. There is, to me, no common industry measures or data. You have them within your own organisations, but as we discussed earlier, Roger, no one is really sharing that information. So therefore, you've got to try and find historical data, and that sometimes can be really tough. And at the end of the day, balancing realistic pricing with those affordable premium levels is a real challenge. And the insurers I've been working to, they say to me, Mark, will people pay? And I say, if the product's good enough and the product can be quantified against an insurable risk, people will pay. If they understand the risk, they understand the impact, and you can qualify and quantify that, people will pay. They were talking about GDPR earlier and whether or not GDPR will be an insurable risk. Well, I'm sure it will be. I don't think the ICO particularly care. It's down to you guys if you want to insure it. But at the end of the day, my word, if I was to say, and I'd be very careful here because you'd probably look up some of my clients on my website, but let's just say virtually every client I've ever worked for has really struggled to demonstrate GDPR compliance to me, and I'll give you a really easy reason why they can't. If I was to say to you, do you know where all your data is at all times, and do you able to demonstrate control over that and show me an inventory of it, which is what GDPR demands, your answer as a business is probably, no Mark, we can't do that. You and every other business out there. So it is a challenge. Now, I don't like doing stats, but I left them in there just for you, so you can see some current status around cyber. Now, last time I was here, I was prattling on about drones, and everybody thought I'd lost the plot, and I was telling them how we'd flown up a drone over Canary Wharf and stole lots of banking details because people are daft and they will log on to wireless networks if they see the word free. Trust me, that's the oldest tip of a hacker. So when you go into your hotels or you go into your businesses and you see, without getting myself into trouble, XYZ wireless network, do you check it? Do you test it? You just log on to it, don't you? And you just assume it's going to be safe. What we always put on the end is free or high speed. And I tell you what, that will trick 99% of individuals every single time. Because they go, wow, this one's free. I don't care about the other one, even if they say it's free. This one really is free because it says it. And this one is high speed because it says it. It's so easy to socially engineer people. Now, when I was here last time, I was telling people what work we were doing in drones. And I think if I remember rightly, someone had a bit of a bet with me, and I said, look, you're probably looking at a major drone strike within 12 months based upon the information I see and the information that's available in the broader public network. These aren't tip-offs I'm getting from my associations. This is just me predicting what's going to happen. Now, terrible that it is, what happened? Someone flew into Saudi with a bunch of drones and shut down 65% of the world's oil supply. Now, could they have stopped that? Yes, they could have done. There's a thing called the Iron Shield, which the Israelis sell. It's not cheap, about 300 million quid. But compared to the damage of shutting down the oil supply for however long it was, do you know what? A mitigating risk. You could have done it. You could have achieved it. You could have stopped it. So when people say to me, Mark, you're talking rubbish, these things don't happen, they don't occur, you know, you're talking science fiction, you're talking not science fact, the reality is that they're there. Now this last video is not designed to scare you, and I'm not going to play it all, but I'll leave it all on. It's slightly Hollywood sensationalised, but you'll get the idea.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of sheep explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people. People do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions.
It's not too gory.
Now trust me, these were all the bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city. The bad half. Nuclear is obsolete. Take out your entire enemy, virtually risk-free. Just characterize him, release the swarm, and rest easy. These are available today.
So as I said, slightly Hollywood sensationalised, but also in many cases very, very true in terms of how the US currently use drone technology for taking out people and whatever. And I don't want to go into it because it's not really my bag, to be honest, but the reality is those threats are emerging at such a pace, and if you look at how people are thinking, this is what I was trying to say to people a little bit earlier, you need to think so much outside the box now that it's almost impossible. I mean, I do a lot of work, I know someone's coming to talk about the dark web, and the dark web is a mystery to most people, and I won't ruin their presentation, but the information you can obtain through the dark web, 90% of it is absolute rubbish, but there is 10% of it that is really, really informative. Again, do organisations really know how to tap the dark web? Do they need to know how to tap the knowledge within there? So I suppose in short what I'm saying is training and awareness and all these things is vital. Data feeds, is absolutely essential. And please don't underestimate the enemy that's out there. There's a lot of people who think they understand cyber rep and cyber threat risk. I'm not even one of them yet. I understand large components of it, and I've worked in all different areas. But someone that is always coming up with a new threat vector that I haven't even thought about, not even in my darkest dreams. So happy to take questions for a few minutes if anybody's got any. I know people are typically quite reluctant, and I've just scared the life out of them, and are now all checking their facial recognition software, see that they don't get murdered outside. By the way, if you want a little hack just to entertain yourself, anybody who's got the new iPhone with the facial recognition software, if you take a picture of yourself on another phone and show that to your phone, it will unlock it probably 1 in 3 times. It's called facial recognition software, people. So I love it when people say to me, yes, but Mark, I have facial recognition software on my phone. And go, bing, there you go. It's really thorough, it's really robust. So I don't know if you've got any questions.
London Market Forums, bringing insurance professionals together.